Long ago, in a world much like ours, men and women walked with God. They listened to his voice. They embraced his word. These were the prophets chosen to share God's uplifting message. They lived in a time of miracles. God's power shone brightly through them. These stories are powerful. They are full of wonder. They show us the strength of faith. They teach us about God's boundless love. Let us journey back in time. Let us meet these heroes of faith. Let their stories inspire us. These prophets faced many challenges. They were mocked and rejected. But God was with them. He gave them the courage to stand strong. He used them to change the world for the better. Moses was a leader chosen by God. He was born in a time of slavery. The Israelites cried out for freedom. God heard their cries. He chose Moses to lead them out of Egypt. Moses went before Pharaoh. He demanded that Pharaoh let God's people go. Pharaoh refused. He defied the God of Israel, so God sent plagues upon Egypt. The Nile River turned to blood. Swarms of locusts covered the land. Darkness fell upon the Egyptians. Still, Pharaoh would not relent. Finally, God sent the 10th plague, the death of the firstborn. This broke Pharaoh's will. He let the Israelites go. They fled Egypt, led by Moses. God parted the Red Sea so they could cross. When Pharaoh's army followed, the waters crashed down. The Israelites were free at last. Elijah was a prophet of fire. He challenged the wicked ways of his people. They had turned away from God. They worshipped idols. Elijah confronted them with God's power. He challenged the prophets of Baal to a contest on Mount Carmel. He said, "Let the true God answer by fire." The prophets of Baal prayed to their God. They danced and shouted, but there was no answer. Then Elijah prayed to the God of Israel. Fire fell from heaven. It consumed the sacrifice. It burned up the altar. The people were amazed. They fell on their faces and cried out, "The Lord, he is God." Elisha was a prophet of miracles. He was chosen by God to follow Elijah. He asked for a double portion of Elijah's spirit, and God granted his request. Elisha performed many great wonders. He purified a poisoned well. He multiplied a widow's oil, saving her from ruin. He even raised a young boy from the dead. Elisha's miracles showed God's power over nature. They revealed God's love for his people. Through every miracle, Elisha pointed people to the true God. He showed them that nothing is impossible with God. He taught them that God cares about their needs. Section 5. Visions of a coming king, Isaiah. Isaiah was a prophet of hope. He lived in a time of great uncertainty. His people faced the threat of war. Their hearts were filled with fear, but Isaiah brought a message of comfort. He spoke of a coming king. This king would be different. He would be born of a virgin. He would be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. This king would establish God's kingdom on earth. Isaiah's prophecy gave the people hope. They looked forward to the day when peace would reign. They believed in God's promise of a brighter future. Section 6. Daniel, faithful in Babylon. Daniel was a prophet of courage. He lived in exile. He was taken captive to Babylon, but even in a foreign land, he remained faithful to God. He refused to bow down to idols. He continued to pray to the one true God. Daniel's enemies were jealous of him. They tricked the king into throwing Daniel into a den of lions. They thought he would surely die. But God sent an angel to shut the mouths of the lions. Daniel emerged from the den unharmed. The king was amazed. He realized that Daniel's God was real. He issued a decree that everyone should worship the God of Daniel. Section 7. The power of faith. These prophets were ordinary people, but they were chosen by God for extraordinary tasks. They faced many challenges. They overcame many obstacles. Their weapon was faith. They trusted in God's power. They obeyed God's commands. Their stories teach us about the power of faith. Faith is believing in what we cannot see. It is trusting in God's promises. It is having the courage to follow his will. Faith can move mountains. It can part seas. It can shut the mouths of lions. When we have faith, nothing is impossible with God. Section 8. A legacy of courage. These prophets left a legacy of courage. They dared to stand up for what was right. They refused to compromise their faith. They spoke truth to power. They challenged injustice. Their examples inspire us to live courageous lives. We may not face lions or pharaohs, but we can all face our fears with faith. We can all stand up for what we believe in. We can all make a difference in the world. Like the prophets of old, we can be instruments of God's love. We can be beacons of hope in a dark world. Section 9, their stories, our inspiration. The stories of these prophets are timeless. They are as relevant today as they were thousands of years ago. They remind us that God is still at work in the world. He is still calling people to serve Him. He is still performing miracles. Let us be inspired by the faith of these great heroes. Let us seek to live lives that honor God. Let us trust in His promises. Let us make a difference in the world. The God of Moses, Elijah, Elisha, Isaiah, and Daniel is our God too, and He will empower us to do great things.